Hey everyone, Chris Haddon and Jason Balin with the REI 360 show, powered by hardmoneybankers.com and rei360.net. Very cool guest for you today. We have Abhi Golhar from Summit and Crown Properties.
Abhi's out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's been doing flipping for a really long time. I think you're going to learn a lot from him. We actually even drill him related to his future expansion goals and actually follow up with him on his juggling skills. Check it out right now.
Abhi, hey, thanks for being on the REI 360 show.
God, thanks for having me, guys.
For sure. How's it going today? Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. We drove in this morning. A good 3.5-hour drive in the rain. It was kind of interesting. So we have a couple projects here that we're doing, mainly headquartered in Atlanta. Decided to come in town and check on just status of our projects here today. So it's been fun so far.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely get into what you're up to now, how your operation has expanded. But if you could you rewind to the beginning? Tell us how you got involved in real estate.
Yeah, wow. It was in my days at Michigan. I was in undergrad, and I started in 2003. I had a couple of rentals and flip projects, and maybe about 2 or 3 rentals, flip projects that I was doing in inner city Detroit. And those early days were failures. To be completely honest with you. And it was, a lot of ramen noodle nights, a lot of wondering what the next steps are, finding the right, and then structuring the deals, waiting whether or not it's good, bad, and I had nothing to compare it against. And so I was pretty much on my own back in the day. And somehow made it work. I just found the people that I needed to kind of fuse a team together, and then I said, all right, how do I do X, Y, and Z? So how do I find the deal, evaluate the deal, whether or not it's good, structure it, position it, exit it, and possibly scale a business? And I had known at some point in time I wanted to scale a business. I just didn't really know how to do that. But fast forward 12, 13 years later, that's what we're doing now. And so it's been a long ride, bumpy ride. It's a lot of successes, a lot of failures. But it's been fun so far. I wouldn't do anything different.
Got it. How'd you find yourself in Atlanta? I get you went to college and in Michigan, but how'd you find your way into Atlanta? And that seems like it's a pretty booming market right now.
Most definitely. I moved here in 2007, so I finished up in Ann Arbor right around 2006. Then I moved to Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska, then Winslow, Missouri, then St. Louis, Missouri, and then finally Atlanta in 2007. And honestly, I was spending time by myself, just trying to figure out who I was, the type of entrepreneur I was, the type of investor I was, and really learning the ropes of real estate, learning the ropes of building a business. And over the years, I found myself working with different mentors in different cities, and I found the most opportunity in Atlanta when I met one of my former mentors. And I said, listen, I need to move. I need to go and visit you. I have no problem. I'm willing to work for free. And that's what I did. So the first year that I was in Atlanta, maybe about 2007 to 2008, all I was doing was following him around from one property to the next property. And this was all on me. It wasn't like I wasn't being compensated in any way. That's kind of something that I've always done. Is if I'm interested in working for somebody, then I'm going to tell them, listen, or tell her, listen, I want to work with you, and I don't care what it takes. I'm going to wash your clothes, walk your dog, cut your lawn.
That's dedication.
Those are important. Those are important things to other real estate investors that need to the good things you're bringing to the table. So what year was that? 2007 then?
Yeah, that was 2007.
Yeah, which is probably kind of a good time. I mean, you probably saw a lot of stuff right at that. The market kind of just collapsed. In some markets it was at the peak and they're in the process of it. Some markets already had. So it was one of those things that unless you had been in the game for a really long period of time, you learned a lot extremely quickly because of it.
Oh, it was such a sensational time to learn. But again, that was another failure during that time. I felt like between 2003 and 2008, literally like all downhill. Like from the top, downhill. think real estate sucks. Down, I suck at life.
Yeah, but in Atlanta, probably from 2008 to 2011 or 12, they had a great run, a great comeback, huh?
Absolutely. No, it's so good now. I mean, you're seeing it even now. You're seeing a lot of property that's selling. Investors are getting into the game, and that's actually kind of the reason why we're expanding to different markets. I'm sure you'll ask me that a little later. But
Sure.
Yeah. Touching on that, moving into that, if you could tell us a little bit about your team, who you have working with you, what they do, what the operation is like.
Yep, absolutely. So our home base is in Atlanta. I have a business partner of mine. His name's Walt Higgins. And we have about 6 build crews. We have an admin gal and just a small shop right now, to be honest with you. We have agents working with us, wholesalers, attorneys. All these guys are independent.
Sure.
Now we're bringing more in-house as we start to do more projects and grow. Right now in Atlanta, we have about 20 new construction projects. In Charlotte, we have 6 renovation and 2 new construction projects. So
Wow.
we're starting to buy pretty heavily here. But Atlanta's where we're headquartered.
Okay.
So you the majority of your internal team, I would, we can call it, because a lot of those are obviously third party professionals. No point to bring them in house. But a lot of your internal people, besides admin type of stuff, are on the construction side. Like those project, let's say you have a project manager or a construction team, and I'm always intrigued about this because the construction makes or breaks the project. And although our lending companies are our focus, we have another 10 or 12 flips or whatever that we have going on at any given time. So we're involved with it, and we see a lot of our local investors being involved with the construction side as well. Are those construction managers in house? Are they salary? Are they W-2, or are they third parties that are just creating and managing teams, and they're getting compensated per the work performed?
Yep. Right now, they're W-9s. And so we'll, as we scale, because we have right now about 20 projects in Atlanta. One of those is renovation, 19 of those are new construction. And so we have one project manager for every 5 properties that we have. And we pay them on a monthly basis based on work, progress, etc. And that's been working well for us pretty nicely for right now. I feel like as we get to the 30, 40, 50 property mark, then we're going to have to start to really bring on some salary folks and really have them stay committed. Right now, excuse me, coming over a little bit of a cold. Right now, we don't necessarily see the benefit of bringing them in the house just yet because we're on that cusp of
That's
it's
right.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not okay. So
Sure.
we're playing with that cusp a little bit before we hopefully explode in 2016. So it should be a good year.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus across the board, about that project side. And then you kind of just take, it seems like then people will just take their best one, promote them, and then they're managing all of the other project managers, and they're, in-house W-2 or whatever. So, no, just curious. I like to ask that question to a lot of people because, the construction's a really serious side of this entire business, and it'll make or break
sure.
anybody. And, you're not only flipping in your home market, but you're flipping in other markets, and, something to, you have real good systems in place for it.
No,
So,
most
Abhi,
definitely. Even in
question,
Charlotte,
moving on to
Sorry.
some of the expansion stuff. First of all, what made you want to expand outside of Atlanta? And 2, why'd you pick Charlotte?
So it's interesting. The story starts at the REI Expo in Texas. I think it was Dallas or Austin. I think it was Dallas, and this was earlier this year. And we haven't been in Charlotte for very long. We've only been in Charlotte since about June of this year. And so we went to Dallas, and we thought to ourselves, you know what? We're going to go to Dallas, and we're going to show everybody. We're going to show everybody what we're made of in Atlanta. Atlanta's got it, or so we thought. And then we went to Dallas, and wow! I mean, you talk about investment groups from different cities, that Tri-City area, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, all coming together within just an hour or 2 away of driving time from each other, and they're doing deals from one city to the next city to the next city, and we don't have that in Atlanta. I mean, we have Atlanta, and that's pretty much about it. The next city that's a couple hours away is Charlotte, Birmingham, Chattanooga. These types of cities would be good markets to go into, and we thought, you know what, we're doing really well in Atlanta. We're going to showcase what we got, and we go to Dallas, and we thought to ourselves, wow, we can really recreate this investment model in the southeast because nobody's doing it. Even Jacksonville's not too far away. Maybe about 4.5 hours away from us in Atlanta. And we looked at the markets in Jacksonville, Birmingham, Chattanooga, and Charlotte. What stuck out for us the most was Charlotte. It's 3.5 hours, more east than north for us. The industry is driven primarily by finance. And the way the city is laid out, it's very similar to Atlanta. So if you take a look at Atlanta, you have Interstate 75, 85 going up and down it. Then you have Interstate 285 that circles, it's known as the perimeter. Interstate 285 that circles Atlanta. The same way here in Charlotte, you have the main highway thoroughfare going through the city, and you also have Interstate 485 that circles it. I think, though, the difference between Atlanta and Charlotte is taking more time to build its infrastructure properly, so it doesn't have the same nightmare traffic problems that Atlanta does, which we face every day.
Sure.
And they're doing a fantastic job. We then took a look at. We had meetings with agents, wholesalers, and builders, and bankers, and hard money lenders, and said, okay, what is the real opportunity here? What makes sense? What are people buying homes at? And where are they buying? And where are the trends going? And we found the most opportunity here. And we thought to ourselves, all right, let's give it a shot. Before you know it, literally in maybe 30 days of being in Charlotte, we had purchased our first renovation project. Then 15 days later, we purchased a second. Then it just started to steamroll, and we thought to ourselves, wow, we can do this pretty nicely. And we have the history with our lenders in Atlanta, so they had no problem lending to us in Charlotte. It's not that far of a drive for them either. And it's been fun ever since. So.
Sure. Now, would you say your long-term expansion model, those markets you just talked about, is that big enough to handle all the bandwidth that you want, or is the end goal, expanding even more? Because you said Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, some other smaller cities out there as well. I mean, it's a good footprint.
Absolutely. I think having more of a presence in the Southeast is really what's going to win the game for us. So We're looking at Jacksonville and Tampa as the next markets for us to expand to. And we also like St. Louis and Cleveland. St. Louis, it's a very interesting spot right now. I've been speaking with a couple of agents and wholesalers just off of BiggerPockets, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and talk about a city that I used to live in. So it would be interesting for me to go back and invest and make some money in that city. But we're finding the only problem though with St. Louis is that it's a flight. It's not a drive. I think the last time I drove it was when I was moving out and moving to Atlanta, and that was maybe about maybe a 10 and a half hour drive for me. And so we definitely wouldn't drive that. We would fly. But I think the opportunity in streamlining operations for rehab crews, build crews, that's what we're really good at in Atlanta. That's what we've been able to duplicate in Charlotte, and that's what we expect to duplicate in Louis, Cleveland, and Jacksonville, and Tampa when we get there.
Cool. Very good. Congrats on the expansion. I hope that goes really, really well. One question, switching gears for a second. I don't think I've asked this of anybody before, but I think I'm going to start. What would you say is your favorite part about the real estate business and running an operation? And what would you say you're best at?
I'm best at probably... My favorite part is structuring the capital raise. That's what I like. I like being able to talk to lenders, talk to high net worth individuals, talk to private equity firms, and say, here's a package of 2 or 3. Here's what we do. We want to subdivide the lots. Go ahead and put it in place. And I like testing myself. It's kind of weird. I like competing against myself with the amount of time it takes me to raise capital for a deal. And so far, my best is one conversation, 5 minutes. So
I can beat you. I can do it via text message.
We're in a little bit different situation than you, but yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of track record with those guys. But I hear you. That is an awesome feeling to be able to put together the finances for a good sized deal like that in a small amount of time. So that's a great achievement and a really good thing to be good at, frankly.
Yeah. And so that's my favorite. I think what I'm best at is recently putting on a lot of gray hair. I think that's been my.
You're too young for gray.
You know what? Yeah, that's one wearing a hat.
We all are.
Yeah, it's moving in that direction, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. No, but seriously, I think communicating with individuals and offering them a platform. And I think that's where I really succeed, and just probably the reason for a lot of our growth right now is because we speak with agents, we speak with wholesalers, and we say, okay, here's where we are, here's where we want to be, but we know we can't do it without you. We can't. I mean, you, the agent, the wholesaler, the people that are bringing us deals, the people that are bringing us individuals to work with, you are the lifeblood of our business. And so I feel my strongest, my strength is in corralling the troops, corralling people, offering them a platform and saying, listen, this is a way that we can work together. Let's capitalize on some upside. So that's what we're pretty good at.
Sure. So Abhi, what do you think is the best way for our users, our followers, to find you? I know you have a lot of content all over the place. You have a really good YouTube show that we followed related to step by step and following you while you're flipping houses.
And I thought that was only.
I think that's a really cool setup. So what's the best way for our followers to find you? Obviously, the majority of our followers are localized in the DC, Baltimore, Philly area, but we do attract folks from all over the country, and certainly Atlanta's a big market, and we're constantly seeing loan applications down there that we can't do. So I know there's people on our email list in Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, all those other places. So what's the best way for everybody to get in touch with you?
I think the best way is Twitter, LinkedIn. Those are huge. I'm on Periscope every day from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I think I was on Periscope this morning while I was
2 hours
driving.
of Periscope a day?
Kind of.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just. That's just the time range. Sometimes I'm on at 4. Sometimes I'm on at 7. Sometimes I'm on at 8.
What's your Twitter handle, so you can give that out to everybody?
Absolutely. My Twitter handle is super easy. It's just my first name, last name. So Abhi Golhar. ABHIGOLHAR.
Got it. And what about your YouTube page or your homepage or whatever you want people to?
You can go to the same. Just take a look at abhigolhar.com, realestatedealtalk.com, youtube.com/abhigolhar, linkedin.com, I think /in/abhigolhar, that's what it is. So, or you can just Google me and you'll find everything.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, we'll make sure we put those links up with the video. And yeah, congratulations on all the growth. We'll definitely keep in touch, see how it goes for you.
I got one more question for you. Abhi. How is your juggling coming along? I remember at REI Expo, came up to the booth and we were juggling together.
Yeah, have you been
You know
practicing?
what? I have been.
You still got all this going on right here? These are golf balls. I couldn't find anything across the office, that close, but
So golf balls are tougher for me. I can the ones that you have. So it's coming along quick. I've been practicing.
Cool.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for
I
being on the
appreciate
show.
No problem. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Later.
Thanks.